under the lights of Madison Square Garden, the cathedral of combat where legends are carved into the stone of boxing history. The air hangs with a tension that feels alive, buzzing, breathing, waiting to erupt. Tonight is no ordinary night. Tonight, a question echoes through every aisle, every seat, every whisper between fight fans who know what's at stake. Can anyone stop Gennady Golovkin? For years, Triple G has walked through contenders like a man reenacting an ancient ritual: methodical destruction, cold precision, punches that sound like axes splitting through oak. 40 fights, countless knockouts, a reputation forged in fire. He enters the arena like an avalanche disguised as a man, his face without emotion, his steps steady, his aura unmistakably predatory. And yet across the ring stands Daniel Jacobs, the miracle man, a fighter whose life story carries enough weight to make the crowd hold its breath. A man who beat cancer, who was told he might never walk again, yet chose not only to walk, but to step into the ring with the most feared puncher in the sport. There is something different in Jacobs' eyes tonight. Not fear, not hesitation, something else: strategic calm, a readiness to solve a puzzle that no one before him has cracked. As the arena lights dim, as the announcer's voice booms through the hall, as both fighters make that lonely walk to the ring, the garden becomes a cauldron of expectation. Fans lean forward, sensing something historic is about to unfold, something dangerous, something unforgettable. And when the referee calls them together, the world seems to pause. These are not just two fighters. These are two paths colliding, one carved by dominance, the other by survival. And the bell is seconds away from erasing the distance between them. The first round begins not with wild action, but with a quiet, calculating tension. Two masterful middleweights studying each other with the intensity of chess players in a knife fight. Golovkin steps forward behind that trademark stiff jab, the punch that has dismantled so many opponents before they even understood what hit them. But Jacobs, surprisingly agile for a man his size, glides backward with a fluidity that disrupts Golovkin's rhythm. This is not a man intimidated by Triple G's reputation. This is a strategist at work. Jacobs flicks double jabs, circles, plants, resets, steps out of range again, little movements that reveal a sharp game plan. He's trying to give Golovkin angles, trying to avoid becoming a stationary target. Golovkin, meanwhile, begins stalking, shoulders raised, elbows tucked, that silent menace growing with each inch he gains. Every step forward is a statement. I am coming. You cannot stop me. The first round begins not with wild action, but with a quiet, calculating tension. Two masterful middleweights studying each other with the intensity of chess players in a knife fight. Golovkin steps forward behind that trademark stiff jab, the punch that has dismantled so many opponents before they even understood what hit them. But Jacobs, surprisingly agile for a man his size, glides backward with a fluidity that disrupts Golovkin's rhythm. This is not a man intimidated by Triple G's reputation. This is a strategist at work. Jacobs flicks double jabs, circles, plants, resets, steps out of range again. Little movements that reveal a sharp game plan. He's trying to give Golovkin angles, trying to avoid becoming a stationary target. Golovkin, meanwhile, begins stalking, shoulders raised, elbows tucked, that silent menace growing with each inch he gains. Every step forward is a statement. I am coming. You cannot stop me. This is becoming a battle of wills. The fourth round begins with unease rippling through Golovkin's corner. They know Jacobs is doing something many thought impossible, frustrating the most feared man in boxing. So Golovkin adjusts. He stops headhunting, begins digging hooks toward the ribs, trying to break down Jacobs' foundation. And then comes the moment. Jacobs, ever the tactician, switches to southpaw, an angle he has used sporadically, successfully, to create distance. But this time, Golovkin reads it. This time, he sees the opening. Jacobs steps left, chin slightly exposed, glove pulling back just a fraction too slow. And Golovkin launches a right hand like a missile, fired with perfect coordinates. The punch detonates against Jacobs' jaw, snapping his head sideways, sending his body down to the canvas. The crowd explodes. The garden becomes a thunderstorm of noise. Triple G remains expressionless as he moves to a neutral corner. But everyone can feel the momentum shifting like an earthquake beneath their feet. Jacobs gets up, calm, composed, eyes clear. But the message has been sent. Golovkin can find you anywhere, from any angle, with any stance. And yet, Jacobs refuses to break. Instead, he responds with fire, landing counters, smothering Golovkin's follow-up attacks, showing heart that radiates through the arena. The champion stalks, lands another sharp hook, pressures with that relentless forward march, but Jacobs refuses to crumble. The knockdown might have tilted the fight, but it did not end it. The Miracle Man rises, fights back, survives the storm, and as the bell ends the round, the crowd already knows. They are witnessing something special, something dramatic, something far beyond the script many expected. As the middle rounds unfold, something extraordinary takes shape. Not in the form of a wild exchange, nor a dramatic knockdown, but in the disciplined defiance of Daniel Jacobs. Fighters often crumble after tasting Golovkin's power, but Jacobs becomes sharper, bolder, more unpredictable. He begins playing a psychological chess match, switching stances, feinting, firing quick jabs, then suddenly stepping inside to smother Golovkin's leverage. He fights tall when needed, then crouches into southpaw angles that force Triple G to recalculate his offense. This is not survival. This is tactical rebellion against the established order of the middleweight division. Golovkin keeps pressing forward, but for the first time in years, he finds himself outmaneuvered in pockets. Jacobs lands a right hand that snaps Golovkin's head back, a rare sight that electrifies the audience. He doubles the jab, circles away, and momentarily seizes control of the ring. It is not dominance, but it is defiance, a statement that he belongs on this stage, in this moment, against one of the most feared fighters of the century. Golovkin, meanwhile, stays composed, but you can sense the subtle frustration simmering beneath his stoic expression. His punches become more deliberate, his pressure more intense, his footwork more urgent. Every time Jacobs escapes a trap, Golovkin builds another. Every time Jacobs uses slick movement, Golovkin tries to cut the ring with even sharper angles. What unfolds is a rare duel: power versus precision, pressure versus agility, inevitability versus resilience. The garden roars with every exchange. Fans stand, sensing something they rarely see. Golovkin in a real fight, a thinking fight, the kind of duel that reveals a champion's true character. And when Jacobs returns to his corner after each round, breathing hard, gloves twitching with adrenaline, you can hear the resolve in his corner's voices. We can win this round by round. Stay smart, stay sharp, stay unpredictable. The Miracle Man is not merely fighting Triple G. He is reshaping the narrative of the night. By round 7 and 8, the fight has taken on a rhythm that no one in the arena expected. Instead of a Golovkin demolition or a cautious Jacobs retreat, the bout becomes a tactical war fought in inches, in instincts, in the small adjustments that only elite fighters can execute under immense pressure. Jacobs begins planting his feet more, letting his hands go with combinations, sharp left hooks, straight rights, hooks to the body that make the crowd gasp. His confidence grows with each successful exchange. The stance switches continue to confuse Golovkin, who must constantly reset his attack angles. For the first time in a long time, Triple G is being forced to think deeply in the ring. But Golovkin is a champion for a reason. He fires heavy jabs that crack against Jacobs' guard, like splitting wood. He lands uppercuts from tight quarters. He presses Jacobs into the ropes and unleashes barrages that test the challenger's resolve. And yet, Jacobs refuses to fade. The Miracle Man fires back with clean counters that snap Golovkin's head just enough to force respect. In the crowd, you can see the fans' faces transform from certainty to suspense, from expectation to disbelief. Jacobs is not supposed to be here, not supposed to be this effective, not supposed to be standing toe-to-toe with the division's destroyer. But he is. Every second, every breath, every step becomes a moment of defiance. Golovkin digs deep, cutting the ring with veteran precision, but Jacobs answers with movement, rhythm, and heart. And by the time the bell ends the 8th round, the arena is electric, not because a knockout looms, but because no one knows what will happen next. This is unfamiliar territory for Golovkin. This is dangerous hope for Jacobs. And this is everything boxing is meant to be: courage under fire, brilliance under pressure, and two warriors pushing each other into deep waters where only the strongest souls survive.